Cartoons are for kids, or so we have heard forever. But the hugely popular Nickelodeon show SpongeBob SquarePants might have changed that notion. Created by animator Stephen Hillenburg, who is also a marine science educator, SpongeBob SquarePants is the highest-rated series ever. The cartoon is based in the city of Bikini Bottom, a fictional underwater city, and demonstrates the enthralling adventures of some friends. It is smart enough for the adults, yet entertaining for the kids. It is probably the most popular show for the last 20-odd years, and still running, and amusing the viewers irrespective of their ages. When something gets so much attention, it ought to have many perplexing, nonetheless fascinating fan theories. Welcome to The Watch, and today we will discuss some amazing fan theories about the show. Nuclear testing theory. Probably the most frequently mentioned theory is about the location on which the series is based. Many theories state that Bikini Bottom is located under Bikini Atoll, where the US government ran nuclear tests at the time of Cold War from the 1940s into 1950s. According to this fan theory, SpongeBob and all of his friends are just a result of mutations whose minds and bodies have been twisted due to nuclear wastes. Although the makers admitted having some connections to that, they never mentioned that it is based on Bikini Atoll. However, there is certainly something which made people do this comparison. A talking sponge and a squirrel in scuba gear are some of the factors that made fans come up with the theory that Bikini Bottom is a result of nuclear testing. The drug theory. Another fan theory suggests that all of the characters in the show are on one or more drugs. To some extent, the theory seems appropriate considering the characters' behavior. Although there are different versions of this theory, there are some commonalities that can be found among them. There are also explanations to which drugs they were on when taking their personalities' rather weirdness into account. For starters, the main character of the show, SpongeBob, takes shrooms, since he has a wild and hyperactive imagination, which replicates the characteristics of someone taking this kind of drug. He can go into the state of extreme happiness and despair. As shrooms can do on the mindset of its users, it can send someone from feeling pathetic to being euphoric. Then comes Squidward, who is supposed to be on heroin. He is not much into eye contact, rather he just keeps to himself. Moreover, he becomes super moody and keeps playing music. The traits of Squidward being upset all the time and his constant failure at his job resembles the behavioral states of heroin abusers. According to the theory, Mr. Krabs and Mrs. Puff are using cocaine. The riches of Mr. Krabs drive him crazy. On the other hand, Mrs. Puff is paranoid when it comes to dealing with SpongeBob and bursts into paranoia to crash SpongeBob's boat. The signs of being paranoid and irritable prove that they may be on cocaine. Patrick is thought to be using marijuana. He is always relaxed, speaks slowly, keeps having the munchies, and has a very positive, carefree attitude towards the world. These are the classic signs of marijuana use. Theory of 7 deadly sins. Quite a well-known theory suggests the characters represent the 7 deadly sins. As we know, the 7 deadly sins are pride, greed, lust, envy, gluttony, wrath, and sloth. According to fans, these 7 sins are the characteristics of the main characters in SpongeBob's show. Pride. Sandy represents pride. Pride is when someone is very satisfied with what they have achieved. Sandy is athletic, a scientist, and belongs to an amazing home country. She takes a lot of pride in these qualities, which make her a symbol of pride. Greed. It has to be Mr. Krabs who represents greed. Greed is the excessive want of having something, and there is no other character who really defines it more than Mr. Krabs. He is obsessed with money, and he wants more and more, which makes him a perfect example of this sin. Lust. This sin is represented by Pearl. Lust is a desire, which can be varied. Pearl is tagged as boy crazy by the fans, and she's attracted to male fish stars. This makes her a fit for this sin, although other theories say otherwise. Lust is also represented by SpongeBob, according to some. He is obsessed with getting a driver's license, which makes him an example of this deadly sin. So, it is debatable who really represents the sin, lust. Envy. This sin is represented by Plankton. Envy is a desire or wish to have or achieve something that someone else has. The person is not happy that others have achieved it. Plankton replicates this trait completely. He is always envious of Mr. Krabs' success and tries to steal the recipe for Krabby Patties. Gluttony. Mrs. Puff is the representation of this sin. Gluttony is the excess greed for food. In the show, Mrs. Puff is portrayed as someone who loves food, actually adores it. The love for food ranges from cake to pasta, and quite naturally and obviously, she is obese. So this sin definitely goes with her. Wrath. Undoubtedly, Squidward represents wrath. Wrath is uncontrolled anger and the feeling of hatred towards something. Squidward hates almost everything about himself and everything around him. He does not like his job, his life, his neighbors, and possibly everything about Bikini Bottom. So, there cannot be a better portrayal of this deadly sin than Squidward. Sloth. This sin goes with Patrick. Sloth is excessive laziness. There is no better example of laziness than Patrick. He does nothing, in fact. He lives under a rock, sleeps all day, and is unemployed. In one word, he is just lazy. Pre-World War II theory. A rather disturbing fan theory states that the show is based pre-World War II, and there is evidence which validates this theory. According to the theory, Squidward represents Hitler. He wants to live among his kind only and does not want sponges and starfishes to be around him. That is what exactly happened before World War II and after World War I, the period of Germany's inferiority complex. SpongeBob represents the Jews, whereas Patrick would be the typical German resigned to their dire fate. Sandy stands for America, who's trying to free SpongeBob from Squidward in resemblance to World War II, where America was trying to rid the world of Hitler's dictatorship. Moreover, Squidward is an excellent public speaker, so is Hitler. Understandably, not everything makes total sense, but at the end of the day, these are just fan-made theories. So, is it based on pre-World War II? It is certainly open to interpretation. Cannibalism. This one is a rather interesting one. One intriguing mystery about the show was the secret ingredient of the delicious Krabby Patties. It remains some kind of addiction to everyone in Bikini Bottom. The secret ingredient, which is only known to Mr. Krabs, might have menacing reasoning behind its secrecy. It might be possible, according to some fans, that the burgers were made of crab meat. He killed all the crabs to make those burgers and never revealed it so that he could come out clean. This might also be the reason why he's the only crab in existence, and maybe why Mrs. Krabs was also long absent. So it is very much possible that Mr. Krabs is a cannibal. The secret box donut of shame theory. This theory might seem a little confusing, but it is allowed to be. This theory connects two separate episodes, namely the secret box and the donut of shame. This theory starts with the first episode, in which there is a party for Patrick at SpongeBob's where many friends were invited. SpongeBob was feeling dizzy after he drank a full bottle of grog at the party. Then Patrick took a photo of him in that state, which was naturally not very pleasant. Then Patrick put the photo in a box he calls the secret box, where he keeps very private things. The day after, SpongeBob tried finding out what was in that box. Unfortunately, he found nothing but a string, but according to fans, Patrick kept that embarrassing photo to blackmail him at some point. What else it can be, other than to laugh at that photo? It was never revealed and thus not proven. Did you make it to the end of the video? These are some of the theories that fans came up with. In the end, these are all for fun and open to discussion. Perhaps that is what makes shows and other entertainment so much more interesting. If you have an interesting theory about the show, tell us in the comments below and subscribe for more content.